Welcome to Tawlet El Sifra dinner table. Today, I'm reaching out to you to explain something that, in my mind, just does not want to be explained. I have been in this country 48 years, and I've gotten nothing but wonderful treatments from everybody here in the United States, Americans and immigrants. I'm an immigrant from Iraq, and I love this country. America gave me a life that there is no way I could have had I stayed in Iraq. But I see something, a new phenomenon that's like a big, huge wave that's turning in the United States, and I don't like it. And I keep saying to everybody I know, instead of the Middle East, Iraq especially, I just want to use Iraq because that's the country I grew up in. Instead of Iraq learning from America, we're having people in America learning from Iraq. This divisiveness, this thing about I am this and you are that, to everybody around us is only going to keep making us weaker and weaker. When the Iraq War happened, and I went there in 2004, one of the proudest moments for me was that when we talked about different religions and sectors and these kind of things in Iraq, everybody said that Iraq is the most Mosaic country in the world. It has the Kurds and the Turkmens and the Arabs and the Muslims and the Christians and the Sabia, I don't know what that is in English, as well as the Yazidis and all different type of religions, but we're all one. And that's how Iraqis held themselves and thought of themselves and felt very proud of themselves. And United States is even more so. United States it has been one of the most melting pots ever. As a matter of fact, one of the things that I remember writing when I first came to the United States and went to college is how my English professor explained to us how all these different minorities, different immigrants come to this great country, and it becomes a melting pot. It changes the color, the overall color, and it gives every person a uniqueness. But it is still one nation, one country that is just, united. There's a common bond between all Americans, every citizen here in the United States. So it pains me to see that just like Iraq became such a fractured country since the war, since 2004, right now, if I say hello to anybody in Iraq, that's the first thing they want to know is what is my religion, what part of the country I'm from, what area of Baghdad I lived in, all in search to find out what divides us. They want to know what religion I am, or everything that would ultimately divides us. I keep saying that when you tell people your religion, even though in their mind, and they're being truthful, they don't care. It's just a matter of a question, but it has become something they all ask. But after a while, that sinks in, and then you or them starts to, when they do any gatherings, when they do any kind of community work or any kind of groups, they either include or exclude the people who are part of them or not part of them. And that's wrong. That's where the division happens, and that's where weaknesses of a community and a country becomes, more and more vivid. And that's what I feel like right now, United States this is what's happening. I love everything that I've been provided in the United States. I feel like I have ownership of this country. I am a true American. I've lived here 48 years. I lived in Iraq almost 18 years. So I've lived in this country 3 times as many years as I have in Iraq. But so therefore, I feel like this is truly my country, and I really do take ownership in this country. And every day, I want to make this country better. Every day, I want to contribute to this country. Every day, I want to be proud of what's happening here in the United States. And in the same token, I want the same thing to happen to Iraq. I want Iraq to be very wonderful, great, united, prosperous country. I want to feel proud of where I came from and proud of where I am. The division that I see happening today makes me want to keep talking about what a great country this is. Maybe the more I talk about it, maybe the more people hear about it, that division will go away and we will be more united. There's such huge effort in this country about uniting us. There are some projects that I see a lot of organizations, a lot of communities doing it. There is a project in particular that I love and I'm a part of, and it's called the Neighboring Project. And that's where you actually get to know more about your neighbors and get to know them to a point where they become your first call if there's any kind of emergency. That we don't have in this country. In most places, I want to say, in most places. In my neighborhood, yes, we do. When my neighbor felt like there was somebody in the house, she called me. So I feel very close to my neighbor, that's how she feels, and vice versa. But that's not the case in a lot of places. Just knowing who this person is and what their names doesn't mean anything. So we need to form these very good bonds, relationships, and closeness between us and our neighbors, between the community. We need to find what we have in common rather than what we don't have in common. We need to get closer to everybody and remove the things that are not the same. If we have anything that's not common between me and my neighbor, which in our case, she doesn't speak Arabic and I don't speak Spanish, and so, but we don't pay attention to that. We keep what we have in common as the common ground, and we move from that point and we grow our relationship from that place. I don't see that happening in a lot of places here in the United States, but I want to tell you that there isn't a place in the world that have people who are more generous, more loving, more giving, more wonderful, more genuine, more, there aren't any place in the United States that are not open-armed and welcoming and good people. They go to bat. They're fighting all kinds of organizations that are trying to keep people outside this country. They're going and hurting themselves just to keep these people happy, whether they're on the right side or not. It doesn't matter to this loving heart. And that's one of the things that's keeping this turbulence happening. Some people are looking at it from a perspective of a law, and the other people are looking at it from the perspective of compassion. And it doesn't matter. What matters to me, what I'm saying today, the point I'm trying to make is that we do have these compassionate, wonderful, giving, great, welcoming people in this country. This is the country where it all happens. That you don't find that anywhere else in the world. You don't find this anywhere else, anywhere. You go to the places where like you feel like, oh my God, I love this country. And you start talking to people and you realize there are a lot of people here that don't want foreign influence there. They want to keep their country without having anybody come in there to do whatever. And in the same token, you see that they're not the most prosperous, the most wonderful country. The reason that everybody says that the United States is the greatest country in the world is not just because of the money machine that happens. As a matter of fact, the money machine that's happening, and the reason that it is happening is because people love to work and be together in this country. When people go to work at 8 and they don't leave until 5 in the afternoon, it's because that most of their life is spent in that area, in that space where they're with people they work with, not family, people they work with. And eventually those people become family. And it doesn't matter if those people there are from what part of the country or what part of the world and all of that stuff. Because people in the United States are great people. They're wonderful people. They're loving people. They're the people that most people in the world want to be like them. And we're allowing these tiny things that are happening to us to divide us. We never care. When I find out that somebody is from Singapore, or somebody is from China, or somebody is from Mexico, or somebody is from whatever country they come from, as an American, I'm nice to them. They're nice back. I want to find out what line of business they're in. How are they here because they want to move this country forward? Are they going to stay here? They're going to, are they visiting? What is it? Most of the, I live in Tennessee, and most of the people that come here from those part of the world are usually here because of business. I want to know what they're trying to do to improve this area, what kind of business they're in, that type of thing. If I was in New York, I would assume that they're here just as a tourist and they're going back. This is how we believe and see and hear. But nowadays, we identify the people, our government, by their religion. We identify this person is from this country and this person is that religion. And that's all divisiveness. That's all what Iraq would do. And we want Iraq to change that and not do it. We want Iraq to be like the United States, where that never is a case. People do talk about the first president that was Catholic and had a big wave against him, whatever, but that wasn't something that was known in public. It wasn't something that people were, like President Kennedy wasn't holding the flag and moving around the country and saying, I'm Catholic, vote for me, or I'm Protestant, vote for me. But today, that's what they do. And they get more votes because of that. They get more votes from that community, the community that they belong to, and they get more votes from the Americans who have that compassionate, that loving, that caring, that don't care about divisiveness. And so they maximize on both sides. And this is what I'm saying, is that wasn't the case. We cared about a country and our politicians that cared about the country itself. We cared about the politicians that wanted to move this country forward. That's how the United States was formed. That's how the United States moved up until now and became, in a very short period of time, the greatest country in the world, and has been for a while. None of those other countries, you go to Europe, you go to the Middle East, you go anywhere, and you're going to find the richness that this country offers. When I give my talks in public, I always tell them, you're not going to go to any place in Europe or anywhere else and find the value that this country offers. That's why people want to come here. That's why people want to come and visit and stay and become part of this fabric that's called the American fabric. I know that I have lived and enjoyed the American dream, and I would encourage everybody to focus on that and move themselves forward into that area, that dream, the basically the most beautiful dream that anybody would want to have. And I'm not just talking about owning a house, but about enjoying the journey to get to wherever you want to go. It doesn't matter whether you own a house or not, because it used to be where people talked about the American dream is owning a house. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the American dream that people, they have a goal and they enjoy the journey to get to the goal. And there's so many people out there that actually lectures us on how we get there. whether it's about becoming a good educator or becoming a good business person or becoming a good housewife or becoming everything. And that we can just listen to it for free and get the richness and the knowledge to get us there. And that's not available in a lot of other places. There's even charities, as simple as a charity is, that we here in the United States look upon being charitable person or charitable organization, we look at it and think, wow, what a noble thing. That does not exist. I do live shows on YouTube with an audience in the Middle East, and all I ask them to do to please start doing some kind of charitable work. Please go out there and help others in the community. Not just go yourself and give food or money to your neighbor, but actually grow it to where it's an organization that helps a greater community. That doesn't exist. We are in the 21st century and that doesn't exist. We need to move that forward. We need to help those people to get there. But before anything else, we need to look at where we are today in the United States and stick with our common ground. Stick where we are and grow from there. That seed that somebody put in the soil here in the United States and started watering it, that seed grew into the best country in the world. And we need to plant another seed and another seed and another seed to grow it even bigger, make this beautiful forest of greatest nation. And then once we have gotten to that level, we can grow to where we can apply that to all the other nations in the world. I'm trying to make that happen in the Middle East, and I hope that, I'm one person and I don't have a lot of followers in terms of viewers on the live, and that's when I usually preach that. I would hope that you all do the same in the country and help me grow that in the Middle East. But let's wait on that for now. Let's wait on helping others before we fill the base. We've got to load up the base, which is where we are. I'm sad to see now in this time of festivities that we're having so much turbulence and not unity, so much divisiveness and not unity. I love this country. This is the greatest nation in the world, and I want this country to stay and grow as one big unit and have this great nation under God, indivisible. That's the point of this nation. This is the point of what this country need to be and always be that. Thank you very much, and I will see you very soon. Have a great day.